It's still this morning on ITV, in case you're just joining us, and this is our next discussion segment. We are going to be looking at environmental disturbances. What constitutes environmental disturbances? As at yesterday, the Dutse market, the very popular Dutse market, was locked down, and according to the FCTA tax team on the free flow of traffic, they said that it's going to be like that indefinitely. Nobody knows when it's going to be open. And for reasons that it has, there are shops that are attached to the original shops that constitute what form part of environmental disorder. And we're going to be looking at all this, is how it affects people who live around there, who may be passing through that route and doing other legitimate business. And to discuss that with me, I have in the studio Baba Shehu Lawan, Director, Abuja Environmental Protection Board. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
So when we talk about environmental disturbance or disorder, what does it really entail?
Yes, thank you for inviting me. The real issue bordering the FCT for now is to do with orderliness. You see, our markets are full of people who are not supposed to be trading within the market. You see, each and every market constituted by having a proper layout and shops, which is being built and then is being allocated to traders to do their legitimate tradings. And when you have so many hanger buys that do not have shops, they are just trading on the road corridor, where it's supposed to be a car park, is converted for illegal trading. People who come to the market to buy will not even have access to the shops. They have already been stopped on the road by illegal traders to buy from them. And then even the shop owners do not even have right to talk to those those hanger buys, which are just within the market, either with wheelbarrows or with umbrellas. And there are just so many. So, first and foremost, what the FCT administration tries to inculcate is to bring sanity, orderliness, and only legitimate traders who have been given shops and they have been allocated shops are the ones to trade within their shops. No extension is allowed. This is so because there are incidences like now it's a dry season. It's a very hot weather. Simply, there are so many instances where fire can really ignite. Somebody on the road may ignite fire, not knowingly, or because of the heat, it may happen. And these are all things which are not supposed to be, which may lead to a serious issues. So that's why we want to sanitize the FCT the markets within the FCT to ensure that proper things are being done. There are ample markets within the FCT whereby people will go and do their legitimate tradings. Where there are none, then they can move to another place. Not necessarily disturbing, bringing in inconveniences. People cannot park their cars when they come to buy. They will be parking on the street, and then once they park on the streets, there are implications for the free flow of traffic. So in order to avoid all these things, that's why we took the bull by the horn to ensure that we bring sanity to the FCT markets, particularly the one that you mentioned at Dutse Alaji. All
right, sir. You talked about before anybody could be allowed to trade in a market, the person must have a shop, right? And we also know that we also know the high cost of rent in Abuja. As you are speaking, I believe there are Nigerians that will be thinking that, okay, if you say we should not attach our shops to the original shops, where do you expect us to go, since we cannot afford to pay for the shop?
Let me explain one thing. You see, every city has a carrying capacity. You cannot just bring everybody to Abuja.
What?
You cannot bring everybody to Abuja.
Okay.
You see, Abuja is not meant for everybody. Okay. Once if you don't have a legitimate business, then you don't have to live in Abuja, because you are creating problems for others. The good thing for people to do is, if they don't have access to a shop, then they cannot be on the road corridor, because it's not meant for them to be trading on the road corridor. When there is a fire now, the fire service trucks, the big trucks, how can they access it? How can they access where the point where the fire started? So it's very important for them to know that illegal trading is completely banned in Abuja. It's not acceptable, and they can be pushed out at any moment in time. They don't even dare to venture into it. There are ways, if you don't have it, you can go back to your home and indulge in trading, in farming activities. Now the rainy season is almost approaching. Yeah? In about a month's time, rain starts around Abuja. And if you're not living around Abuja, if your state is far away, you can wait until when the rain starts. You can go and indulge and engage in farming activities or other trades, but not to create problems for the entire FCT. By implication, you are creating problems to the entire FCT.
All right, sir, are you not worried that this is coming at a time when most Nigerians have reasons why they move to Abuja, and one of such reasons is insecurity, the fact that many states in the country are not secured. They are battling with either banditry, kidnapping, terrorism, and other stuff. Many people move to Abuja see Abuja as a safe haven. Don't you think this is coming at the wrong time?
Well, yes. It may be, you may be right. But the thing is, there are other businesses, and the FCT administration has opened a lot of markets. Just by the Duse Alaji market now, there is another market which is very, very close, just about maybe 200 or 300 meters away from Duse Alaji. It's a brand new market which is open, which is completed and open. So
how cheap is it?
No, I'm not part of the market management to now say this is what is happening. But you see, for a starter, one can be an apprentice under a trader, under a major trader. Not necessarily you need to get money for you to start your own trading. See how the Igbos learn trade, because they will now be under somebody for a number of years. They know the rudiments of the marketing, and then after that they will be now given capital to go and establish their own. But the people who are coming from the north will always, even with wheelbarrow, they want to be on their own, and then that constitutes problems. So the thing is, once you are not on the right track, you create problem for yourself. Your wheelbarrow can be impounded. Whatever items you have, you can be impounded, and then you run into a problem. So the thing is, our people who have the capital to now open shops, they can open multiple of shops and then engage some of these young boys who will be working under them for a while, and then after some time, they can be settled, and then they can now go and open their shops in where they can afford. So by doing this, you have teach these young people how to manage their lives forever. So we need to change our ways of doing things so that orderliness come to the country now. This is a federal capital city. It's a city established by a law. It's not like just our traditional home states whereby just we found ourselves after several hundreds of years. Our ancestors, settled there, and you just come, whatever you want to do. There are no maybe law governing such things. But Abuja is constituted is established by a law. So that means we have to follow, because all the people, because Abuja is a heterogeneous society. Unlike our states, it's only a few tribes of people are living there. You know who is who. Everybody knows each other. But here, because of our heterogeneity, that means it's the law that will now regulate our activities.
Oh, you see, now the thing is that they say when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. And the grass in this case will be the customers. Because before now, Duse markets was seen as a market that where people can go and get things cheap, from foodstuff, clothing, and the rest. So, many Nigerians will be wondering, where is the human face in this policy?
You see, first and foremost, let me make things very clear to you. Those shop owners who have rented or who bought these shops, they bought it at a very high cost. And somebody has now come.
And for that reason, whatever they are selling will be double the price or triple the price.
No, it will come down. It will certainly come down, because still there's competition in the market. The reason why we go to market is because of the competitiveness. Otherwise, if there's only one person now, he will just put his price, and then it will be expensive for anybody to buy. But you have multiple of people selling same one commodity. And when you have a wheelbarrow of people obstructing the shops, that means they can take whatever. And then those that have now rented the shops cannot sell, because they have been obstructed by an illegal person who is trading there. So because of this, because of the orderliness, all over the world, once you go out of this country, even the Nigerians that have gone out of this country, they know how order is maintained in other places. And we have to learn to do things in an orderly way. Because the shop owners are happy that these people have been removed.
But the customers, majority of them will not be happy.
You see, the thing is, you have an option.
And? You
have an option. The option is, there are several markets.
Okay.
There are several markets. If, for instance, you find items in a particular market is costly for you to buy, you can now go to bigger markets. You go to now Mararaba, where the whole sales are being brought from that access Jos, Nasarawa, and so on and so forth. That access, the whole trucks that are bringing in food items now offload there. They sell in bulk. And then if you want to buy in bulk, you can buy it. You can go and buy it and keep it while you have a facility to keep, you can keep. So that every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or in a monthly basis, you can go and do your shopping. But where these are neighborhood shops, is serving only community around, for instance, the Duse Alaji one, around community living around Duse Alaji and Buhari side. So it can't be too expensive for them to buy, because we cannot accept the presence of illegal traders hanging and obstructing, and simply because we want to provide them income, and then they now becomes part of the illegality. And then after some times, these people will keep on multiplying, and you will not even have access to go into the market. And those who are coming with their vehicles cannot park, and then the implication of the traffic gridlock on those people are going and coming from Buhari is just overwhelming, that the whole place is going to be in a chaotic situation. So to avoid all these things, orderliness must be brought to the FCT to ensure that everybody adheres to the proper rules and regulations governing the city.
We're still discussing the shutdown of Dutse markets by the FCTA, and I still have Babashir Hulawan, Director, Abuja Environmental Protection Board. He said that illegal marketing is not allowed anywhere in Abuja, as that constitutes environmental disorder. So let's take a look at another aspect of your job, that is ensuring that FCT is rid of beggars. How far has that gone?
The issue of beggars is really a problem, social problem, and is under the purview of Social Development Secretariat. Okay. It's not a mandate of Abuja Environmental Protection
Board.
Board.
I said that there was a time under Abuja Environmental Protection Board, there was a tax team that was going around, you know, taking these beggars off the streets, kids hawking off the streets. And
you are very right. Still, we do assist Social Development Secretariat in apprehending school-age boys and then adults. And really, it's a nuisance. It's a nuisance to the city because every city in the world, major cities in the world, you don't find beggars on traffic light, at intersections. Wherever there's a traffic gridlock, they know because this is an intersection, there's a traffic light. Before the traffic light now gives you a green light to go, they will now come in and beg. Some of them are blind men or women driven by school-age boys, or sometimes you see school-age boys on their own being deployed to the city by some people who will now bring them from elsewhere packed in a car or in a bus, and then distribute them within the city. They beg, and after begging in the night, they will now come and pick them back to wherever they are living. This is unacceptable in Abuja. It's not acceptable in any way. It causes so much trouble to the city because they are not expected to be on the road. They are not expected to be begging. And then it's a total nuisance to the motorists and then to the city management. That's why we in Abuja Environmental Protection Board, whenever we sight young boys either washing windscreens of vehicles or begging or being driving destitute around, we apprehend them. We apprehend them and then take them to now our Area 3 office, because these people, or this set of people, are not going to be prosecuted.
Okay, what happens to them?
We are now going to call the Social Development Secretariat. Director of Social Welfare is in charge of taking care of these people. Okay. So that they will come with their boss, and then they will now pick them up, and then some of them now will be taken to the Buhari Rehabilitation Center. And then the young boys will be now taken to orphanages, and then their guardians will obviously come, and then they will now be asked, why are you doing this? These are young boys who are supposed to be in school, and now you're allowing them to be on the street. And once they now learn to be getting money at that age, how about by the time when they now grow up to an adult?
They will not want to go to school.
They will never go to school. And then you have destroyed the whole life of these young boys. So because of this, Social Development Secretariat, they have the social workers who will now give social talk, sensitization talk to the parents or to the wards of these boys. But still, they are repeat offenders. They keep on coming. Somebody that you have arrested or apprehended over and over, you see them around. There were times even when they were being repatriated back to their home states. Within no time, they will come back because of the fact that out of sympathy, Abuja people give them more money than
other states,
than the ones in the states. But Abuja is created by law. We are doing our best to remove them. of the street, and they are not supposed to be coming back. And the Social Development Secretariat would come up with an appropriate act of the National Assembly, because these people are destitute, and being a destitute, you don't need to, again, for now, there's no law that to prosecute them, because they are even beggars. How can you now prosecute and get money from beggars and put it to the coffers of the treasury? So it's, for now, this is the way to go, to just apprehend them, take them to a rehabilitation center, and then the boys to orphanage centers. So this is what will have happening.
So let's talk about food vendors. There have been accusations against your boys. Food vendors, some of them say when they arrest them, they take them away, and sometimes they eat their food, and they end up again extorting money from them. So what is it like? Is it true, or is it not? It's not true.
Food vendors, you see, is part of hawking on the street. You know, the thing is, there's a food safety. You cannot just go and buy food anyhow and be eating food. You don't know the source of that food. You don't know the source of that meat. For instance, a suya man will now come and be hanging around on the street and roasting meat. And then you don't know his source of meat, you don't know nothing about that person, and then you just go and buy that meat. Maybe it's from a dead animal that they just butcher it and then brought it and be selling. Those food vendors that are on the street are people who are now go to the market and buy vegetables that are rotten, and they come and cook and sell it to the public. So no matter what, in Abuja, as I said, is created by a law. And those food vendors are not supposed to be on the street corridor. Either they are on the walkway or they are on the green verge and be selling and trading and littering the city and spilling wastewater that they wash their dishes on the road, where flies will come and fly, and then now these flies will now go in as a vectors of disease transmission to the homes around. It's not acceptable. We will continue to remove food vendors, and these even the soya people. There are designated big soya people who are within parks. They are well known. Their meats are being supplied to them in the abattoirs, supervised by veterinarians. These are legitimate people that it will not cause you trouble in your stomach. You will eat this meat and then sleep well in your houses. But don't go to a small people who are just trying under whatever guise to make money, and then be buying food, and then now you will run into problem, particularly dysentery, cholera. So many diseases are being transmitted. And it's not only you alone. Once you transmit now, you will also transmit to people near you. So because of this, there are health implications. That's why we are removing them on the street, and they are not supposed to be within the city. It's very clear.
Sir, from all
and
that,
our boys are not eating it, because they don't eat whatever items that are confiscated. These are items that are going to be destroyed, because once you pack things and put it in inside a canter truck or open truck or hillocks, you have already contaminated that food. And after all, you don't even know the source of this food. So how can you just allow our young men and women who are doing this job to be eating? No, this is just a mere accusation, and we don't do that.
All right, so from all that you've said, people will be worried that there is no place for a struggling person in Abuja. Could there be some sort of provision, some sort of policy that would at least give a little leeway for the struggling person in Abuja to start up a business?
There are agencies
in terms of location, and
there are agencies of FCT administration who are dealing with particularly those that want to go into commercial ventures. Abuja Enterprises is a department set by the FCT administration to encourage young people to go into a business. They are particularly trained on that. There is also Abuja investment. There are agencies of FCT that are to deal with people who want to legitimately get set up their businesses and live well. So Abuja Environmental Protection Board, we are not into that. We don't provide people to go and do business because we are not trained on that. And
I'm not saying it is under your purview to do that.
Yes.
But I'm just asking. You are Nigerian, and you know the situation in Nigeria. There's high rate of poverty everywhere. Everybody is struggling to survive.
Yes.
As a Nigerian, if you are to advise, what would be your advice?
Well, let them go to farm. Farming is a big business. A federal government of Nigeria is encouraging farmers to now providing subsidies to farmers, encouraging people to go into farming, and farming is a big business. This is the time when young people will venture it, and even the young graduates will venture it, and then it's a high income era. Before we know ourselves, before the 1960s, before the oil boom, our major preoccupation of our parents is farming. Over 95% of our activities is farming and things to do with forestry activities. It's the one that kept us until when oil is discovered. And then everybody now rush into the cities and want to live within cities. It's not possible. Still, farming is a big business. There are ample land and productive land. There's enough rainfall. We are blessed with enough rainfall in all the ecological zones of this country. Let them go into farming activities, but you cannot be living, running helter-skelter, doing illegalities in the name of, keeping your soul within the city. It's not possible.
So I'll still take you up on that farming and on farming business. The government has been talking about the diversification of the economy through agriculture, and at some point, Nigerians seem to be comfortable with the fact that farming is becoming a booming business, as you said. But now there is an issue: farmers-herders clashes. So many people, even in the rural areas, cannot go to farm now, not because they do not want to go to farm, but insecurity.
That's right.
So how would you now? How does that add up? When you go to farm, you know that you're not safe.
Yes, it's a very unfortunate situation. I realize that. The main issue is now these are things that the security agencies are working towards improving the general security situation of the country. They are on top of the situation. All the security agencies of government are working, including the state government, the local governments, the federal government. All hands are on deck to ensure that security comes to our country. And then our people now go back to farm. It's a big challenge. So these are things that you invite the security agencies so that they will highlight you more.
But for now, I'm just putting it to you. And since you're so bent on telling people
in charge of Abuja,
I'm trying to tell you that there are reasons why people will not be able to stay in the farm. Very cogent reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm about to Duse market shut down and other markets, because I know after this Duse market, others will follow because we have them little around Abuja. Are you not worried that it's going to increase the rate of crime in Nigeria, in the FCT, I mean?
Well, you see, there are several markets. You see, Yahi, just close to Duse, not too far away, there's a new market. And then, just as I said earlier, just about a few hundred meters, 200 or 300 meters away, there's another new market. These are new markets that are completely empty. And then when you go to Uye, there's a new market. When you go to Garki, Garki Ultramodern Market and Garki Market, these are well-regulated markets whereby, you are going to be within a shade. And then these young people should now venture, because the main issue is everybody wants to stay on his own, stay alone. It's not possible.
Is it such a bad thing?
It's not a bad
for
thing.
somebody to want to
But
start up small on his or her own.
Why are we going to school? Because of the fact that we want to learn over this period of years, whatever course that you take, so that by the time you now complete your course of study, at least that will now give you knowledge to manage your life throughout the period that you are going to live. And now these young boys, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. They're just coming from villages and they want to now go into trade. And they don't know the rules governing the city. And what they're doing is illegal. So they need to be trained by the major traders. They should have to go to be under the major traders to learn the rudiments of the trading over years, and then they should be on their own. So these are some of the things. Some people are even trading on the pedestrian bridge. Is it right? This is peak of the break of law and order. It's not meant for them to be trading. It's meant for pedestrians to walk across safely, so that there will also be a vehicular movement at on the main carriageways, and you safely cross over. But somebody will now go and obstruct and be trading. Is it right? It's not a market. So we have to maintain law and order within the city.
Sir, let's talk about the core mandates of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board. What is the core mandate of the AEPB?
Our core mandate includes, first and foremost, the overall sanitation of the city in terms of cleanness of the city. That is removal of solid waste on daily basis. That is from house to house removal. Sweeping of the streets to ensure that the streets are all clean. To maintain the sewage system of the city. Over 900 kilometers of sewer network within the city is maintained on daily basis by Abuja Environmental Protection Board, and then this wastewater flowing from each and every house now flows into our treatment plant at UPA, and we treat it on 24/7, non-stop. We also to maintain all illegalities, to remove all illegalities in terms of trade or other activities that are not allowed by the law establishing the city, like the things that we mentioned, like the illegal trading on streets, hawking, begging. All these activities are to be removed to maintain health and safety of the residents of the city dwellers. These are the core mandates of Abuja Environmental Protection, among others. We also have the sanitary inspectors who are to inspect premises to ensure that all unapproved activities are not accommodated within any property within the city. At any moment in time from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., sanitary inspectors, by the law, they are to go into any premises and carry out inspection and detect any nuisance and now abate the nuisance. We carry out prosecution. While there are compliance, we acknowledge it, we note it. While there are no compliance, that means we now take it to our legal team, so that our legal team, we have ample mobile courts. We have courts, about 10 of them, mobile courts that have been given to us by the chief judge of FCT, so that we can prosecute them at any of our courts depending on the district that the nuisance is detected, and then these are abated. So, in essence, during the rainy season, and also the grass cutting within the city is also under our purview. All these good loans that you will see is also being done by Abuja Environmental Protection Board. So the FCT administration has given the mandate to Abuja Environmental Protection Board to ensure that the city remains absolutely clean, in top form at all times. Any nuisance that is detected will be summarily dealt with to ensure that, you know, health and safety of the residents of Abuja is maintained.
Well, thank you very much. I must say this discussion has been very, very enlightening. And I know that our residents of FCT are watching and they are listening to you. We now know that any form of illegality in FCT will no longer be tolerated. Perhaps in the past we do it and nothing is happening, but you should know that Abuja must be kept clean at all costs. So it is, if you're one of those people who like to litter the FCT, maybe for the fun of it or because you think you're hustling, just know that there is a new sheriff in town and Abuja must be clean. This is where we call it cut on this program today, this morning on ITV. Thank you very much for taking our time to watch the program. Join us again tomorrow for the pidgin version of the program, Waiting Day Happen. I remain Charity Tanko, and I say enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.